Hey guys, so today we're going to be attempting to make my two dogs in Sims 4 Create a Sim, or CAS. I have a 5-month-old Shih Tzu Maltese mix, or Malshi, named Rocky, who we're going to be making now. And I also have a 15-year-old Shih Tzu named Cubby. I'm going to start with the regular Maltese build, I think, because I think that's closest to his body type, and let's see how this goes. I'm not including my face right now just because when I do, the game seems to lag horribly. It can't handle my webcam and game capture at the same time, which is fitting because this computer is about 1,000 years old. But just so you guys know, this is what I look like. I am a self-described dog mom with cerebral palsy, and I find that my dogs give me such comfort and joy, and I wanted to make this video today just as a thank you for all the love that you've shown the puppies since they've been on the channel. Just the amount of subscribers we've gotten over the past month or so that I've started to feature the dogs and their adventures with me has just been crazy. I decided to go with a tougher build because I thought it would be more fun to transform a dog that looked nothing like Rocky into Rocky. So I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do. You know, his snoot is too long and it has to be snootier. Rocky has almost zero snoot, so let's push that in. As you can tell by these pictures, he has a very defined button nose. Just call him Frosty the Snowman. I'm not sure if I'm happy with a lot of these options, but let's just go with this one and let's see how true it is to form when I turn it around. On to the ears. Rocky has floppy ears, so I'm going to go with this one. It's not quite the length I would want, but looking at these other options, I think it's the closest we're going to get. Let's take a minute to check out the coats. I really like the coat section when customizing your animals. If you have Sims 4 cats and dogs, they bring back the color wheel that was famous in Sims 3, and they have a lot of really cool pre-made stamps for the body. And I just think it's kind of reminiscent of the customization you could do in The Sims 3, which I'm always a fan of. Now, as you can tell, the color scheme we have here is similar to Rocky in the fact that we have the tan, the black, and the white we're working with. And I want to see if I could find anything in the pre-made coats or tails to match Rocky's kind of styling. We have the black down the center of his back and some tan, and then black and tan ears. You would think that since I have a picture for reference, this would be a simple matter. But make no mistake, I always tend to mess things up. Fun fact, I actually am recording this voiceover after having done the CAS gameplay, and I'm pretty sure that now is about the time that I'm realizing that I can't do a whole lot of body modification to the height of this model. I can't make him as short as Rocky is. And I'm beginning to regret my decision of using an actual breed like this to make Rocky, so I'm abandoning my attempts, and I think I'm going to go with the Maltese build again, and I come to you with my tail between my legs in absolute shame. I think now was about the time that I was studying Rocky, who I've had for 5 months, and who was sitting next to me at the time, to make sure I had the color absolutely perfect and the spot size absolutely perfect to paint what is now effectively a blank canvas. And here we go. I call this Cheeto Dust du Jour. It's really turning out wonderful, guys. I mean, look at this absolute masterpiece. Look at how it's going right now. And here we're going to have an extended shot of a dog butt in case you're wondering where the Patreon dollars go. And while I'm at it, special thanks to my patron Omni-Man is Daddy. You'll see his name at the end. And if you want your name at the end of my videos and some bonus content, be sure to check out the Patreon in the description down below. I actually really like live commentating to these videos because at the time, I definitely wasn't thinking that I was making the Cheetos mascot, that cartoon tiger. I was definitely thinking how well this was all going and how I can just edit out all the mistakes in post and how it would just come out really flawless. But then I realized after I made the footage for this that if I edited out all the times that it kind of went poorly, then you guys wouldn't really see the transformation, and therefore the whole video point would be kind of moot. So we are on this ride together, and I'm glad that I created a deeper spot for this, because as you can tell, the black on Rocky's back does kind of spread a little bit more. Although I think this black is a little bit too harsh. Let's try gray. And the gray is also black, ladies and gents. You heard it here first. Now, if I had to pick what makes Rocky's look so nails painting emoji, sparkle emoji signature, it's the tips of black on his ears. It's one of my favorite features of his coat, so you know I had to highlight that here. And one thing I will say is, as he's gotten older, he's not even a year yet, but as he's gotten older, he has developed a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, so I'll add that in a second. And it kind of looks like he's an old man even at 5 months old. But it's definitely, you know, coming in. I told my fiance that it looks like he's kind of growing a goatee. I hope I didn't add that extra black, because it does kind of add a little bit too much blackness to the face. It looks like I did, but you know what? I kind of dig it because it adds some definition to the face. So I think we're making some good progress. We're nearly there, I think, and then we'll move on to Cubby. Some black for definition in the paws. And then I think we're going to add some more caramel to the top of the head. As Rocky's gotten older, I'll show you a picture from when he was a newborn puppy to now. He's definitely lost a lot of coloring in his face, but he maintains a lot of that brown, which I absolutely love that coloring. This one is a little bit, you know, more yellowy than I would have wanted, but I think it's the closest we're going to get. And obviously we got to do kind of that ombre effect that he has going on in his ears with some of the browns, blacks, and whites as well. I feel right now like an absolute artist just talking about colors with you guys. We're really working on my life's work, my masterpiece right now. Can we just take a second to appreciate that? His coat in the default is a tiny bit more fluffy than I would have liked, so we're going to check out some more. Oh my god, that's nightmare fuel. Let's not go with that, please. And even that kind of doesn't quite look like him. You know, I wanted a little bit less fluffy, but none of these other ones seem to capture him. They kind of make him look like an alien, if you can ask me. So I think we're going to stick with this one, because even though it's a little bit too fluffy, it is the least creepy one, in my opinion. And I think we're nearly there in terms of his coat. I think this is as close as we're going to get to capturing him. And I'm pretty sure at this point I'm going to put him in different poses just to show you guys how the coat's laid out and how he looks. I'm giving you guys a little dog show, and our little Rocky model is definitely giving his all right now. Look at this little pose. I think that's so cute. Initiate slow turn for full smolder effect. Look at this little handsome man. Now on to the naming. Let's see. I shall knight thee Sir Rocky Road of the realm of puppies. Ignore how nerdy I sound, please. I couldn't make this into a funny joke if I tried. But again, we're naming him Rocky Road after his namesake ice cream and his lovely coat. Now on to the traits. He's definitely playful, so let's keep that. And he's adventurous. You may be able to hear him in the background digging at nothing. He thinks he can dig a hole through the center of the earth and maybe find a new land one day. Don't give up on your dreams, Rock. Don't worry. Keep going. Keep at it. I'm sure something will come of it. He definitely thinks he's a hunter, but I don't think we're going to go with that. I think more likely he is a sleuth, because he loves to find things, particularly things he shouldn't be eating. Inedible things like wires, anything that's dangerous. Rocky says, you know what, let me take a bite. What's the worst that could happen? And now I think we're done with Rocky, so let's move on to Cubby. I need to generate an adult sim. I think I'm just going to do a randomly generated one. I don't feel like making myself right now. Maybe if I put this household in the gallery, I'll make myself, and if I decide to do that, I'll put a little note in editing. But for right now, I just kind of want to focus on the dogs, and that'll do. So next up we have Cubby, who, like I said, is a 15-year-old Shih Tzu. He is an old man, but, you know, he still loves to carry out his little routines in the morning, mostly of sleep and sitting by the heater, which, even though I'm 26, I can't say I blame him much for that routine. And as you can see by his coloring, it's a lot more simple in the fact that we're only dealing with black and white, and I'm not going to make the same mistake I did with Rocky before, and we're going to go with a Shih Tzu model right off the bat. Now, I said before that Rocky had a very little snoot. Cubby has basically no snoot. He is basically eyes and a nose. There is no bridge. I don't even know how he gets air in there. So I'm going to try my best to replicate that, but I don't think I could push it any more in. I'm just going to make the nose a little bit more bulbous to kind of affect how it stands out against his little muzzle there, and see what I can do with the jowl. It looks like I can't move it much anymore, so it looks like this is going to be the base for the face that we're going to go with. I'm also going to try moving his eyes around and changing the eye shape to see if that affects the shape of his face a little bit more. I already kind of feel like the model they have for Shih Tzus isn't quite what I wanted it to be. This doesn't quite capture, I think, the overall look of the breed, not even just Cubby. This looks just like kind of like a furrier version of the Maltese model. Again, both models are really cute, so I'm not really necessarily complaining, but for realism, I don't know, I feel like we're gonna struggle, guys. Let's see. First, we're going to the ears, and I think his actual ears are a little bit shorter, although I think the overall look of these is similar. Oh my god, look at these. It looks like he's Rapunzel. They're clipping him through his fur. The shorter ones, I think, capture him a little bit more, so we're going to keep those. And it looks like we're going to check out the coat details next. Again, like I was saying before, his coat's a little bit less complex than Rocky's. We're just dealing with black and white. But make no mistake, yet again, we are dealing with some complicated stuff because I'm at the helm. I really like how the different colors shift around in the layers as you change each individual color in the layer. It moves everything around to kind of a nice ombre effect. I just noticed that while doing the voiceover, so quick appreciation for that. I think we're going to go into the more detailed color wheel next, just to parse out some of the coloring here and make it a little bit more manageable. Cubby has a lot more defined and solid splotches of color, I think, than Rocky does, so I think this coat design is going to be a lot quicker than Rocky's. I don't know why it took me so long to change over to white. Oh yeah, because there's a black, or like a gray black next to the white right here where my cursor is, that would not let me change over, so I had to go to a different color white in the shade wheel. Really, you know, just cry for me. This is really a tragedy, and it took seconds off my life. It did. We have finally arrived at the white color, and yes, I mean, we got there, but I still think it's like really harsh against his skin in a way that I don't think it is in real life, but we make do with what we can. For like a solid few minutes, I entertained keeping his face all white like this because I thought it made him look like a skeleton, and that was really cute. But again, we strive for realism in this project, so I had to abandon that and go on to more realistic coloring. He has like a patch of white atop his head that I'll show you in a more clear picture if I can get one, and for some reason it took me like almost to the end of this coat design to like figure out how to place it, but I'm so glad I did because it really just like adds to his whole look and makes it look all the more real. It took me like a solid few minutes to like figure out the white placement on his face. Longer than it probably should have to figure it out, but hey, we're striving for realism and perfection, so you can't rush art. One thing I've noticed as Cubby has gotten older is that the tips of his ears are getting a little bit whiter. He is quite literally getting gray hair, so I really wanted to capture that in this here model. So again, a little bit more drastic than the actual white. I would say that like his black is just like starting to turn gray as he ages. So that's really what we have going on here. But I'll take the white patches. I think they're cute. And now really what I'm doing, I'm just making it snow. He has huge patches of white on his legs and belly. His legs and belly are basically all white. So I'm just using the largest area of color I can, just going up the legs, and we're making some solid progress on this coat. Honestly, guys, it's going about 1,000 times better than I thought it would be. The art is coming together. Cubby is going to be so proud of this when he inevitably sits down to play The Sims in front of his little heater. One thing I really like is that when you paint one side of the body, the other side of the body follows suit. So I'm painting one leg, but it's tracking up the other leg as well. It creates some really good symmetry and saves time on the build, so you really can't go wrong with that. And let's see what I plan to do next. For a brief moment, it looked like the skeleton was returning, but it did not. There's like a pesky brown line that I can't seem to get rid of from his base of his chin through to his nose. And I think I was going to try to fix that before I decided to move on to the sides and the belly, because that's probably the easiest next part of the coat to accomplish. Just again, big swatches of white. And this next part, when we cover the belly in white, is just so satisfying to me to just cover this area and it being painted so evenly along the sides. I don't know, it was just really satisfying to me. So right now I'm just finishing up some of the white touches on his paws and his belly, but it's all starting to seem a little bit too monochromatic. So I wanted to add some pink to the belly, but that is just way too pink. That is like rouge level. It's like if we like put some makeup on his belly, that's what we would come up with. So I think we're gonna stick with just the white patterning. I thought maybe some of the spots would help, but I don't think it's gonna really capture just like the subtle pink and liver spots of his belly. He won't let me take a picture of that part of him. He is not down for it. He says, leave me alone to read my evening newspaper. I'm not dealing with this, so I'm not going to force it. So right now I'm just going to put some more accents and color touches on. But for the most part, I'd say we're nearly there in terms of capturing him. I don't know why the fur is like glowing right now. I don't really understand what's happening there. I think it's because it's like guiding me to where the spots would be if I chose that stencil pattern. But it's just kind of freaking me out right now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think at this point I was returning to his head structure to see if I can make it a little bit smaller and rounder just to match his face shape. There's something really square about this model that I don't think reflects the breed or a lot of dogs in general, especially not Shih Tzus. I almost gave him an overbite there, but I kind of like how that jaw moves in a very cartoony way. And there's something just a little bit uncanny about the eyes. He kind of looks like a possessed teddy bear, but I also kind of think it's cute. I have a lot of very complicated feelings about this, clearly. But yeah, I think we have a few more touches to go. Definitely some touch-ups on the belly before we can put this one to bed, before we can say, hey, that's Cubby. Let's see what else we can do with this. I don't think I got rid of any of the brown in the original model's fur, but that was intentional, and I'll tell you why. Because I intentionally forgot. Yes, very intentional. Right now my plan is to just paint with the white brush as if my life depended on it. I'm just really going ham, and that is my way of correcting any mistakes that I'm making in terms of the blending for whatever reason. I'm just like, you know what'll fix this? Just a really heavy brush stroke. That's what's gonna fix this whole thing, I'm sure. definitely about as accurate as we're gonna make him. We're almost there in terms of the coat. I think I'm just gonna give you guys a show of how it's looking. I mean, does he still look demonic? Yes, but my point is that he's my demon. He's my demon dog. I made him. Here he is, belly up, as we did with Rocky. Full pose mode. Yes, give me the magic. Give me the magic. And now we are on to the naming portion of the evening. You shall be Cubby Bear of the Realm of Puppies. For those of you who saw my short, you'll know that he was named after a bear cub because when he was very small, he just looked like a bear cub to me. He was originally my sister's dog, but she allowed me to name Cubby. And I just think that's the most fitting name there ever could be for him, because even now in his old age, he lumbers around like a little bear, and it's just too perfect. I think now we'll head over to traits and see if we can flesh out his personality a little bit. He's definitely loyal, I'll give him that, but I think there's more to this little bear than meets the eye. I'll give you guys a quick turnaround to see his coat for a final time. If the arrows would work, let's see, will they? Yes, there we go. One quick spin before we get back to the traits. So we have loyalty. What else? He, at one point, was definitely a glutton, though not so much anymore. He's definitely watching his figure these days. Let's see. I will say that he is definitely friendly. And for our final one, see, it took me a while to land on this because he's none of these other things. But then it occurred to me, yes, he is a couch potato. He loves to snuggle. He loves to lay at your feet. He's basically a pair of slippers. So it's more than perfect for him. Alright guys, looks like we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, let me know. Leave a comment down below and be sure to subscribe. See you later.